What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode. No, I'm a little rusty. We just dropped a new Bleeding BNG episode, so that's why I thought that we were doing some Bleeding BNG episode content. No, this is our second rendition of Mock Draft Mondays 2026. I'm your boy, Bleeding BNG, Jalen, aka Black Adam. And this is where, if you haven't joined us for any of our previous Mock Draft Monday streams, this is where you come join us as a part of the Commanders Caucus for us to make some drafts in the hope that we make the 2026 season for the Washington Commanders much better than the 2025 season went. So if you're new to our Mock Draft Mondays, we started this last year. You know that we do two versions of a draft every stream. We'll do a trade back version and we'll do a best player available version. The reason that we do both of them is because, to be quite honest, Washington is in dire need of both of them. Washington is in dire need of both of them. And I say this to say, you can't knock any approach that the Commanders might have going into the 2026 draft. Because not only are we lacking elite blue chip talent as far as prospects go, as far as young football players go, that's why the best player available model might be the model that we need to pursue and we need to go after. But you can also admit that we have a slew of holes on this roster as well. And that's why the trade back philosophy and the trade back approach isn't an approach to scoff at by any means either. We pushed it up a little bit early. Let me tell y'all, let me pull y'all behind the lens a little bit. Y'all know, if y'all notice, we usually do these at 7:15. So we started at 7 o'clock today. Trying to push this up a little bit early in hopes of, us not missing any time of the college football playoff. And then I'm getting ready to log on to the stream. I'm getting ready to start the stream. And then I look up and see that the championship game started at 7:30. So we're guaranteed to definitely miss a little bit of the playoffs of the college football national championship between, Fernando Mendoza and Indiana and Ruben Bain and Miami. I think Miami and Indiana as well has a couple of guys that I think can improve this roster into 2026. That's a big reason why I want to get a keen eye on this game. So we're not going to have a long stream by any means. We're going to knock these two drafts out. But come join us in the war room. Come join us in the war room. Come infiltrate the chat. If you're not familiar with a Mock Draft Monday, I appreciate all chats. I appreciate super chats even more. We take super chats with a little, we give the super chat senders the rightful attention that they deserve. We give the super chat senders the rightful attention that they deserve. And they like second in line. They like second in line as far as the chain of command goes for the front office. If I'm Black Adam, no Rocky, playing Black Adam Peters, whoever sends in that super chat and let me know their thoughts on that pick, you got Lance Newmark type influences. You got Lance Newmark type influences on the pick at hand. And if you want to go ahead and support the channel, other ways other than sending a super chat, you go ahead and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button so you're not missing any of this content from us over here at Bleeding BNG on your Washington Commanders. Let's get into the chat though. Let's get into what's the chat talking about. What the chat talking about? My guy Tracy. What's up, brother? My guy Tracy 9205. What's good, man? Super excited to do another Mock Draft Monday with you guys. Doing this every Monday until the actual draft in April. So come join us in the war room every Monday, 7:15. Doing it a little early today because of the national championship game. But what's the word? I'm super excited to do this stream, but I'm also super excited to watch this game tonight as well. The reason that I'm super excited to do this stream is because even though we don't have a lot of draft capital, there's so many ways to attack this draft. Now, I will admit, when I was preparing to do these streams over the course of every Monday for the next 2.5 months, I had to start looking through a couple of big boards, had to start doing a couple mock draft simulators myself. And I came to the conclusion that this is and don't hate me, don't shoot the messenger. This is probably one of the worst drafts since 2013. So in a year where we need a youth injection across both sides of the ball on this roster, I don't know if this is the best year to have it, but guess what? We got to deal with the cards that were held, with the hand that was dealt. We got to deal with that hand that was dealt. Black Adam, my guy Young Mill, Black Adam, no Rocky. Time to put the cape on and make the Washington Commanders of 2026 great again. We got to make the 2026 Washington Commanders great again. Like that's just my sole purpose, my sole intention with every mock draft that I do leading up to the NFL draft. Y'all know last year, if y'all was tapped in, my intention was to leave every mock draft with a running back because I thought that we could improve greatly over a guy like Brian Robinson. Adam Peters almost didn't listen, but guess what? He drafted a running back in the 7th round and a guy in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt ended up being a upgrade. Excuse me. Ja'Cory trying to watch this game in the background. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt ended up being an upgrade over a guy like Brian Robinson, like I believed he was going to be when I was intending on upgrading at that position when we were doing these drafts a year ago. Don't have that type of player position specific intention going into this year because I think that we got a lot of players, a lot of positions that can be upgraded. It's just that simple. We got a lot of positions that can be upgraded. My guy Chill Monkey says, what my guy Chill Monkey talking about? Shout out Chill Monkey 123. My fear is the Jets pick Bailey and Giants pick 5. That's my fear as well. But guess what? At least half of the fan base is still talking about that pointless ass Week 18 win against the Philadelphia Eagles. I still get called a fake fan over that game because I want my team to be best set up for the future and not care about beating Philadelphia Eagles backups. That's my biggest fear too as well, Chill Monkey. Now, if you haven't been tapped into my Instagram page and my social media pages over the last couple of days, I made a declaration over who my wide receiver 1 is. Because I know we talk about all these defensive prospects, Ruben Bain, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, and I totally understand it. But both sides of the ball needs help. Both sides of the ball needs a lot of help. And I'm not a guy that would turn my nose up at a selection of Jordan Tyson with the 7th overall pick. If you didn't know, Jordan Tyson is my wide receiver 1 as of right now in the 2026 draft. Slightly edging out a guy like Mekhi Lemon, a wide receiver out of the University of Southern California, USC. But I'm at the point where I've studied these guys a lot. I think that David Bailey is my favorite prospect for Washington. Caleb Downs might be second, unless is Arvell Reese in consideration. Do we think that Arvell Reese is going to fall to the 7th pick? Do you think it's a chance that he falls to the 7th pick? Because if that's the case, Arvell Reese is my number 1. If that is the case, Arvell Reese is my number 1, with David Bailey being a close second. I guess you could throw Caleb Downs in there at 3rd. But a guy like me and what I've seen over the course of what I've been watching and just tapping into these guys over the course of the offseason, I'm selecting Jordan Tyson, that wide receiver, over a guy like Ruben Bain. And I got called all type of names when I tweeted that a couple of days ago. Got called all type of dumbasses by people who I know just started watching Ruben Bain 2 weeks ago. Ruben Bain's a hell of a player. I ain't say that Ruben Bain didn't deserve to be a top 10, top 15 pick. I just said that I might consider taking Jordan Tyson over Ruben Bain. That's not the case with Arvell Reese. That's not the case with David Bailey. But these are just some of the things that you got to attack when you at the 7th. The 7th overall pick is such an awkward spot. Tracy Cooper said, honestly, how many elite candidate prospects are there in this draft? That's tough because I wouldn't consider any of the quarterbacks elite candidate prospects, even though we can all assume that Mendoza's going to go 1. Tom Brady, I'm looking at Tom Brady on the sidelines right now. So I wouldn't consider any of the quarterbacks elite. I think Jeremiah Love is elite, can't miss. Caleb Downs is elite, can't miss. Arvell Reese is elite, can't miss. And outside of that, I don't know. While I love David Bailey, I don't know if you would call him an elite, can't miss prospect. I don't. Because if he played the run like he did against Oregon and played the run like that the entire season, he would be can't miss. But there's some low light film on David Bailey when he's playing the run. But as far as a pass rush demon, oh my God. David Bailey is all you want in a guy. You third and long, you tell him to go pin his ears back and rush the quarterback, David Bailey is your guy. But sadly, we need much more than that. And David Bailey can definitely get groomed into that. Pause. That sounded crazy. But he can definitely develop into that. He can definitely develop into that, but I don't know if that's the case right now. So as far as can't miss players, can't miss prospects, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love. The right tackle from Miami, Flauga. He's can't miss for sure. But other than that, I don't know. Jordan Tyson will be close to can't miss in my eyes, just off the what he does when he's on the field. But his injury rap sheet and his injury history is nasty. I think his injury history and his injury rap sheet is the only reason why Jordan Tyson isn't can't miss in my book. Because if you look at how NFL wide receivers move in 2025, they move like Jordan Tyson. They move like Jordan Tyson, and he's a freak. I don't know if I was speaking hyperbolic when I said that my comp for him as a prospect was Justin Jefferson. Long, wiry frame. They look very similar at the top of their routes. And it doesn't sound as crazy when you remember that Justin Jefferson was the 22nd overall pick in the 2020 draft. He wasn't no top 5 pick, wasn't no top 10, top 15, top 20. So for me to say Jordan Tyson is a prospect, I know it sounds crazy on the surface because we know what Justin Jefferson is as a wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. He's a goddamn Hall of Famer. But I think Justin Jefferson and Jordan Tyson have a lot of similarities as prospects. Let's see. Let's keep checking in with the chat. Let's keep tapping in with the chat. My guy Chill Monkey said, I personally am not impressed with Reese. I'm personally not impressed with Reese and don't think he will be in the top 10. Arvell Reese going top 10, bro. Arvell Reese didn't have the strongest last month of the season. But Arvell Reese's first 3 games film was top 10 film, and especially in this draft. I might be with you if the draft class was a little stronger. But Arvell Reese is going top 10, bro. He might not go top 5. That's why he might very well be on the board when Washington picks. And if we turn our nose and pass up on Arvell Reese, I will start to question Adam Peters and the decision making. Because I'll be the first to say Arvell Reese didn't have as strong of a November than he did a September. But that's because his fucking September was so goddamn amazing. That's because his October was fucking first round pickish. It's a reason why we were talking about him as the first overall pick. With a guy like Francisco Mendoza doing what he's still doing. Francisco Mendoza, yeah, he's elevated to the number 1 overall pick. But Arvell Reese was in those talks, and it wasn't like Francisco Mendoza just had this nuclear rise. It's not. So, I mean, I get it. Like, he didn't have the strongest last month of the season, but I definitely think that Arvell Reese will still end up being a top 10 pick. I think we should definitely use that 7th round pick, but after that, we should trade back to get more picks. Yeah, but the thing is, we don't have a second. What is it? We don't have a second or a third rounder, so we picking again in the 4th round. Who wants to like? How hot of a commodity is the 4th round pick? Like that sounds good on surface, and I don't disagree with you. I just don't know how likely it is to happen. Keep going through the chat. My guy Young Mill. What Young Mill say? What my guy Young Mill say? I have to see what we are doing because I'm interested in Trey Hendricks. You on that boat alone as far as I go, Mill. I'm sorry. I've said in a couple of streams earlier in the year or later in the regular season, I ain't interested in signing anybody over the age of 26. Maybe 27. You call it ages. I'm 30, so guess what? I'll be talking about myself. You call it ageism, you can call it whatever you want. But I got so fucking tired of this defense running around and chasing guys, looking like Drewski and Michael Rubin in that video. I don't know if I could do the AARP All-Stars anymore. I don't know if I can do the Over the Hill Gang 2.0 anymore. I don't. Let's get into a couple more of these comments before we hit the draft. Say Reese Downs, Bailey are going. We got to go offense in pick 7. Is there a good DE we can get in the 3rd round for our next pick? Game changing defensive ends? No. And I'm pretty sure you're not expecting us to draft a game changing defensive end in the 3rd round. Even though, I mean, there are some 3rd rounders that come out and make instant impact. But a guy that you need to potentially impact this defense, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's why you may have to reach for a guy like Keldrick Faulk, or potentially trade back and hope that a guy like Keldrick Faulk falls to whatever spot that you trade back in. If those guys are off the board. But as far as I like Mesidor is not going to be there in the 3rd round, even though he's with his dinosaur bones. Buddy from Florida, strong short arm nigga. Tyke, right, whatever his name is. I don't think he's going to be around in the 3rd round either. And this draft, not even just the defensive end position, but this draft alone isn't the deepest draft. It's actually pretty shallow after the first maybe 50 picks. And I know some people say that because they really don't delve into the draft and know a lot of these players because they don't watch a lot of college football. No, that's true this year. This draft is bare bones as far as the depth of the talent pool. That's why I get to like me in the 4th or 5th round and it start feeling like a chore when you do these mock draft Mondays. No way around it. Adam Chivas got to spend that bread this offseason. Facts. Got to spend that bread and got to make some great draft choices. We have a 1st and a 3rd, but still ain't nobody moving up for the draft for it. DMV Scan 804. I agree with you about 97%. I agree with you. But where we stand now, I totally agree with you. But if we somehow, some way, we would have just lost that game against the Philadelphia Eagles, I think somebody might have potentially traded up for a top 5 pick or the number 5 overall pick, depending on how the top 4 picks are shaking out. But now, with the hand that we're dealt, in reality, I agree with you 100%. Ain't nobody trading up for these picks, bro. Not in this draft. Not in this draft. I'm hard to see how guys deem these guys worthy of, being traded up for in this draft. All right, we about to get into the simulator. I think I'm gonna do the trade back approach first. Before we get into the actual simulator. Once again, if you want to support the channel, go ahead, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, flood the chat with your thoughts on how the draft is going, and send a super chat. If you send a super chat, we give you the rightful attention that you deserve. You're essentially our Lance Newmark, second in line. We listen to what you guys say a little more than these regulars in the caucus, these non-super chat senders in the caucus. But I want to watch the championship game. Who y'all got tonight? Miami or Indiana? Who y'all? Yeah, this draft this year sucked, man. Ain't no other way to put it. I think that it might be the worst draft since 2013. When fucking Eric Fisher and Luke Joker were top 5 picks. This might be the worst draft since 2013. At least we ended up. Well, who we walk away in 2013 with? We didn't have a first round pick. We had, at least we ended up with Jordan Reed. Maybe we can find our middle round gem. I want Miami too for the culture. I want Miami too, but that Indiana team, they seem like they might be a juggernaut, bro. They seem like they might be a powerhouse, bro. They old as dirt. That team old as hell. There's a couple of niggas my age out there, and they dominating all these 19 and 18-year-old men, bro. I want Miami to win too. Do they at least cover the 7.5? That's what I bet for. Hey, that's how we got some real ball knowers in the chat. Because all three of us thinking alike. Indiana might pull this off and cap off one of the greatest college football seasons in recent memory. But hey, we all rooting for Miami because guess what? If you're a Washington football team fan, you damn near feel quasi-associated to Miami football between Santana Moss, Clinton Portis, and Sean Taylor. What an era. What a time. What an era. What a time. All right, man. That's enough about college football. That's enough about everything else. Let's get into these drafts, man. 7-round draft. Like I said, I'm going to do the trade back approach today. normal speed. Let me make sure that I'm on my Washington Commanders. We on the Commanders. Let's get started. All right, so we're on the board. Carnell Tate just went off the board with the 6th overall pick. Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain went 4. Jordan Tyson went 3. And this is one of the worst possible scenarios because not only is Arvell Reese off the board, but Ruben Bain, but Jordan Tyson as well. So of all the prospects that I like the most so far, and I know it's early in the offseason and early in the draft season, David Bailey and Caleb Downs would probably be my 2 favorite prospects here. But remember, we're trading back for this version of the draft. So let's look at the offers. So Cleveland is offering pick 24, pick 39, and a 2027 second-round pick for our 7th overall pick. So we move back 17 picks in the first round, but we pick up an additional second rounder, not even an additional. We pick up a second rounder that we don't have and get an additional second rounder next year. And then Carolina's offering pick 19, pick 51, a second rounder next year, and a third rounder. So we move back 12 spots this year, pick up a later second round pick than the one that the Browns are offering this year, but we pick up an additional pick next year. So y'all let me know. We trading back. Man, Tracy, I hear what you're saying, bro, but let's not break the rules, bro. You've been tapped into Mock Draft Monday. You know we got to stick to a thing. We gotta stick to a thing. So we're trading back in this draft. Next draft, y'all can get y'all shit off. Y'all can get whoever y'all trade back to see how many assets that we can accumulate. I get it. I don't want to trade back 17 picks either, but this is the hand that we're dealt. Not trying to drop that far back. So guess what? Stay tuned for the next draft. Stay tuned to the stream for the next draft, Mill. That's where we take the best player available approach. But right now, we got to take one of these offers. And I feel like Carolina might be the better offer, moving back only 5 picks. But the Browns were offering a higher second-round pick. So you can take that either way if you're considering that this draft isn't deep. Yeah, you get a higher pick, but you get a higher pick in a shallow draft. But now, if you select, or if you go with the Panthers trade offer, you will take the lower pick in the second round and still a shallow talent pool. So I mean, hey, this is why I'm Black Adam, because I gotta make the decisions. Y'all go ahead and send a super chat, and I'll rock with any decision that y'all make. But as of right now, all the power's in Black Adam's hands. Carolina, if that's the blessed offer. Counter and propose pick swaps to improve draft position. Counter and propose pick swaps. Pick swaps from what year, though? They're offering, I mean, we don't have a second round pick swap to offer them. And then they're offering next year picks. I'm not doing that. That's a waste of a exercise and a practice. So I get what you're saying, but what is there to really counter? We don't have a second round picks to swap with them. We're already swapping first round picks. I'm not about to trade 2027 picks because we're not at 2027. Oh, what I do? That's so funny. I don't know. But look, only 2 trade offers. I'll counter to see if we can turn that 2027 second into a third this year. So I'll do that. So I'm about to counter and see if they're willing to get part ways with pick 70. So we ain't got to worry about next year, because this ain't the 2027 Mock Draft Monday 2.0 stream. This is the 2026 Mock Draft 2.0 stream. So we worried about 2026 picks. So I'll offer that. But matter of fact, even before I do that, let's go back to Carolina. Let's go back to Carolina. Let's see if we could, because I do want the higher first round pick. I would much rather pick at 19 and 24. Let's see if we can convince them to giving us 119 this year instead of the third round of next year. So that way it'll be picks 19, 51, 119. But what's the better counter now? Because if I'm countering for pick 70, I don't know. Tracy, you're just not gonna be pleased or nothing, bro. Send a super chat. Send a super so we can rock with your decision. Click counter. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Code Talk. I'm saying, like, what picks are we gonna swap? You like that Browns deal better than this Panthers deal? Because I doubt they give us 19, 51, and 80. You like that Browns deal better than this Panthers deal? Oh, all right. All right. Yeah, we ain't trying to be here all night. All right. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send that one counter to the Browns. If they don't accept it, we're gonna go with the Panthers offer. How that sound? I'm gonna send that one counter to the Browns. If they don't accept it, we're gonna go with the Panthers offer. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Boom. All right, it got rejected. All right, so let's just go with the Panthers offer, bro. Their initial offer that they sent. Matter of fact, I'm a little greedy. Let's see. They will in the part with 119. Bang. All right. So we got picks 19, pick 51, and pick 118 this year. Had to move back to pick 19 from pick 7. But we added 2 more draft picks this year, 2 more players, 2 more than we had previously had. Mansour Delaney off the board, Caleb Lomu, Sonny Styles, Gerard McCoy, Francis Maga, Avion Terrell. So now the Browns are back knocking at our door. We're back on the clock at pick 19, offering pick 24 and pick 107. Y'all remember, this is the trade back draft. We're trying to get as many picks as possible. Houston is trying to give us pick 28 and pick 59. I ain't about picking in the later part of the draft, though. And I guess that's what picking at 24 is with the Browns offer, too. And then the Chargers are willing to offer pick 22 and pick 123 for pick 19. This Chargers offer is a little tempting, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you. This Chargers offer is a little tempting. So as of right now on the board are, so we will move back 3 picks, but still gain pick 123. I think that's a 4th rounder. But Olavide, Ioane, guard out of Penn State, Ty Simpson. Kenyon Sadiq is probably my favorite player on the board right now. Caden Proctor's on the board. Caden McDonald's on the board as well. So it's some names on the board. Kenyon Sadiq is probably my favorite right now. Kenyon Concepcion's on the board. Caleb Banks. There's some guys that we could definitely use in Washington. Denzel Boston. TJ Parker. I definitely think that we could trade back these 3 picks, acquire pick 123, and still get a player that we like. I think I'm going to go there. How y'all feel about that, chat? I think I can get Sadiq at 22. I think I can get Sadiq at 22, Tracy. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and accept that Chargers offer. But then the Browns are giving up pick 107. 107 higher than 123. Shit. That's why I don't like doing this shit. Trade back with the Chargers or trade back with the Browns? Trade back with the Chargers. All right, so we're going to trade back with the Chargers. We're going to accumulate pick 123 and move back from 19 to pick 22. Chargers took an offensive guard. And guess what? Keon Sadiq is still on the board. I'm not interested in. Oh, that's a damn good trade offer, though. So in these three packages between the Bears, the Texans, and the Bengals, I'm not accumulating any additional picks. So I'm going to go ahead and reject these and finally select a player in the first round. And that player is going to be tight end Keon Sadiq, one of the most athletic tight ends that come out in recent years. We need a pass catcher with juice going downfield. Yeah, a lot of y'all wanted to be a wide receiver, but I think that we need that exact same thing in the tight end room. And I think adding a guy like Keon Sadiq could do that. So pick 22, Keon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. How we feeling about that pick? Back on the clock at pick 51. Back on the clock at pick 51. How we feeling about that pick? Are any of those legit starters for next year? Keon Sadiq was the biggest game changer on the board. If you're looking for game changers, Mill, y'all go pull up some Oregon Keon Sadiq film. One of the most athletic tight ends in recent memory. This is a guy that you can split out in the slot. This is a guy that you can split out wide and exploit a couple of mismatches. All the things that you need to do in the modern NFL. I appreciate that, Tracy. Truth be told, that's an A+ pick. I appreciate that, truth be told. And guess what? We got Keon Sadiq, and we still were able to accumulate a lot of picks. We got pick 51, pick 71, pick 119, and pick 123. So I'm really on my Black Adam shit today, y'all. I know we had some technical difficulties last week. Had me a little frazzled. But my clarity. I got clarity today. I'm thinking right. And I'm really about to build this 2026 Super Bowl contender for this Washington Commanders, man. We do need that, Mill. We desperately need that. Looking at Hunter, Texas Tech. All right, let's pull up. My man, truth be told, ready to move the pick 51. Shout out to you. The Packers are offering us to just move back one pick while still accumulating pick 257. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The fuck am I talking about? Buccaneers offering pick 77 and offering up an additional second rounder in next year's draft. Let's look at the players that are on the board. Ooh, R. Mason Thomas is a great get here. I know I forgot who it was that asked if there was a third rounder at edge that can potentially contribute to the team next year, and I said I don't think so. There are a couple of second rounders that I think can do it. And R. Mason Thomas and Cassius Howell fit those bills. So I don't know. I know that the Packers offers us moving only down one pick and still acquiring a 7th round pick, but I don't know if I could pass up on R. Mason Thomas or Cassius Howell right there. Take 52 for a 7th rounder and then pick in between. All right, how about I trade back to 52? So trade back one pick and pick who's ever left between R. Mason Thomas and Cassius Howell. How does that sound? How does that sound, chat? How does that sound, chat? Truth be told, I know you said that you saw. I ain't see Hunter. I didn't see Hunter from Texas Tech. I got to go down on the board. Bro, PFN's user face is so fucking funky. Mezzador is still on the board. Oh, Hunter's there at 62. I might be able to get Hunter at 71. All right, let's trade back to 52. Let's trade back one pick. Let's go ahead and take the Packers offer. Move back one slot. So they took a cornerback in Will Lee out of Texas A&M. I like Will Lee. All right, so at this point, I'm R. Mason Thomas or Cassius Howell. Who we going? I'm picking up an edge. Are we going R. Mason Thomas or Cassius Howell? I'm leaning R. Mason Thomas. He long gone and the other marks him. PFF, yeah, PFF might have more realistic big board, but you got to pay for PFF, and y'all not sending no supers right now. So who gonna play for PFF? Y'all like Hal? Y'all like Hal over R. Mason Thomas? I think R. Mason Thomas gives you more as an all-around edge. Who stops the run better? R. Mason Thomas definitely stops the run better. If you want to look at their measurables, R. Mason Thomas 6'2", 243. I mean, this is talking as if R. Mason Thomas was a pass rush specialist. I don't necessarily see that in his game. They got very similar builds. And I know Cassius Howell had a hell of a game against LSU, but I'm gonna go ahead and put on my Black Adam hat as the lead GM and select R. Mason Thomas. I just think he's a better athlete, and I think you were able to do more with him. I think he can be used more as a defensive chess piece than a guy like Cassius Howell. So we got our tight end, we got our edge, and we're back on the board pretty soon. We back on the board in the next 10 picks. Deontay Lawson, Lee Hunter just went off the board. Damn, I was hoping Lee got to us at 71. All right, back on the board at 71. One offer. The Carolina Panthers are offering pick 83 and a third round pick for pick 71 and 185. Yeah, nah. I'm gonna go ahead and reject that one with my damn self. Shout out to Wendell Jefferson. I like Thomas too, big dog. I like R. Mason Thomas over Cassius Howell as well. My guy, Young Ma. Yeah. So safe to say y'all like that Thomas pick. Y'all like that R. Mason Thomas pick. Safe to say that. And as of right now, pick 71, I see a name that's screaming to me on the board. Because I don't know if we have a good safety on this roster, y'all. And Dylan Thyman, yeah, I know he's a white DB. And that's like seeing a unicorn running in the downtown streets of Washington, D.C., right? But I think Dylan Thyman is the pick here. How y'all feel about that? I've already rejected the trade offer. We only had one. I think Dylan Thyman is the pick here. Oh, no, Lee is definitely a beast. Young Miles said we go wide receiver. Wide receiver for safety. Antonio Williams it will be a solid pick. I think he's limited athletically. I don't know if he's going to be a better pick than Dylan Thyman. This is a white boy with range. He different. Got a lot of instincts. He honestly reminds me a lot of Kevin Byard. We do need a wide receiver, but Kenyon Sadiq can be that chain mover. I think we need a bigger wide receiver. And Antonio Williams more so fits that chain mover type of role that you saying that we need. But I don't know. I just think a guy like Ted Hurst still available, Zachariah Branch still available, Kevin Coleman Jr. still available. I think you could get your slot guy, even though I don't even think we need a bigger guy more than we need a slot guy. I don't know if I could pass up on Dylan Thyman right here, though. I don't know if I could pass up on Dylan Thyman. So I'm going to go ahead and make a GM call and make a big dog call and go ahead and select Dylan Thyman if they ever let me get back up the fucking big board. God damn. Come on. We were doing good, PFN. Don't start hitting me with this bullshit. All right, we good. We good, y'all. We good. Ain't no more disappearing and doing magic tricks like I was doing last week. All right, 71st overall pick, Dylan Diamond, safety out of Oregon. So we got 2 Oregon Ducks. How we feel about that? I don't know how to feel about that. Ain't like they won the Natty. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm black, but I was watching his film last night. He brings it. Yeah, I like Dylan Diamond. Then again, I got another state. Oh yeah, Ted Hurst. Yeah. We are firmly on the Ted Hurst hype bus. I might be president of the Ted Hurst fan club, and I don't even like G5 wide receivers, group of 5 wide receivers. Antonio Gandy Goldman spurnt me a group of 5 wide receivers so much. I hate them, but Ted Hurst definitely has some juice. We need some real ball hawking ability. Yeah, Diamond has that. Diamond is a ball hawker. Like I said, he reminds me of Kevin Byard. You're gonna see a lot of people comp him to Reed Blankenship and Harrison Smith. I'm telling you now, that's just because he white. I see a lot of Kevin Byard in his game. All right, we're about to be back on the clock at pick 119. How many picks do we still have after this? Amani Jackson just went out of the board. So we pick again at pick. So we got picks 1. Oh, I cooked, y'all. Damn, we still got 5, 6 more picks. I cooked. God damn, we back on the board. No trade offers came for our pick 119. Back on the board. I'm thinking Tim Keenan. I seen Tim Keenan getting his coach's ear and start like whispering sweet nothings. I was like, oh, this nigga's a demon. Draft Taylor Dream, 230-pound Jaden Daniels to be Jaden's backup for sure. Gandy Golden was so awful, bro. Antonio Gandy Golden was not a real football player. I'm convinced. It's crazy that nobody from that 2020 draft class is still with us. Nobody. That shit crazy. Corner and wide receiver. I don't know. I'm going Tim Keenan here. Let's see. We can see what wide receivers are on the board. Josh Cameron. I like Josh Cameron. Yeah, he's got some size. He has the size that I'm looking for. Trey Lance, brother, he look a little bony on film. He look a little, I don't know. He looks like Alec Pierce a little bit on film. But I don't know how I feel about North Dakota State skill players. I know. Did Grace Zabel go to North Dakota? I know they usually produce some solid linemen. I don't know how I feel about North Dakota State skill players. I think I'm going to go Tim Keenan here and then pick between Bryce Lane and Josh Cameron once we get to pick 123. I will admit that this isn't the sexiest draft, but this draft is definitely going to improve the 2026 Washington Commanders. All right, we're going Tim Keenan here. Ooh. All right, so do we go Nick Singleton? Do we go Bryce Lance? Or do we go Jordan Cameron? Do we go Nick Singleton, running back from Penn State, to put him in a committee with Bill? I know some of y'all Chris Rodriguez Jr. fans wouldn't love that. Or do we go Jordan Cameron? Who we go here? Wide receivers are ass, Tracy. I'm trying to tell you. I see you saying wide. I get it, but these wide receivers ass, bro. Like Bryce Lane is at the top of the board, and I am not the highest on him. Do I think that you could take a flyer on him with a 4th-round pick? Absolutely, but I am not high on him at all. I'd much rather probably take a flyer on a guy like Josh Cameron at pick 145 or 140, 145 if he gets there. I wouldn't mind drafting a guy like Taylor Green, but I don't think we're in a position that we're capable of wasting any draft picks on a backup quarterback. I like the thought of bringing in a young backup for Jayden Daniels, though. Yeah, but I don't know. Do we go Nick Singleton here? I did not like Nick Singleton's film last year. Looked like he was running in the running backs. Is that Rivers got 100? That fast dude wide receiver. Nah, man, I was just finessing. Truth be told, I was just finessing. I was just finessing in the trade offers. You know, I was just finessing over the phone. I was on my Harry Roseman shit. All right, let's go Nick Singleton. I'm curious to see how Nick Singleton tests at the combine because him and Bill Backfield could do numbers. Eric Rivers is Eric Rivers that fast guy? I believe he is. I believe he is. I stopped watching Georgia Tech football once I realized that they weren't going to be competing for college football playoff. But from what I can remember from earlier in the season, I think that Eric Rivers definitely is a guy with a lot of twitch. Yeah, he is. He is. He is. Yeah, he's number 3. Yeah, he is. Eric Rivers has a little juice to him. But I think we need bigger wide receivers than gadget guys and guys you're gonna run reverses with. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Nick Singleton here because that's probably the best value pick. I could have went Devin Moore. I could have honestly went Devin Moore. All right, we need to hurry up because the game about to start. Damn, I could have went Jacob Rodriguez. What the fuck? What the Lord knows this defense because you was a fucking Jacob Rodriguez. I forget about him every draft, bruh. I forget about him every draft. Fuck. I would like this draft a whole lot better if I got Jacob Rodriguez. I'm sorry, y'all. Because we definitely need some off-ball linebackers. I don't know what I was thinking. Black Adam had a Tyreek Sapp. Jack Kelly. Damn, they got Kendall Daniels all the way at 241. So I can wait to get Kendall Daniels? Shit, that's the answer to my shit. I'm thinking about doubling down. Tyreek Sapp was the edge that I was talking about from Florida. Great at stopping the run. Great at holding up the edge. I think I'm gonna go with Tyreek Sapp here and double down on that edge position. Drafting him and R. Mason Thomas. I love that. I think Tyreek Sapp might have actually been a better pick than Jacob Rodriguez right there, to be 100% honest with you. All right, we back on the board again and pick 185. Next time I might do this shit fast because they moving a little slow. That Romello Height goes off the board. Another guy that I was interested in from Texas Tech. Eric Rivers finally goes off the board at 170. Am I really about to lead this draft with no wide receiver? Are we really going to be spamming old ass Terry McLaurin again? All right, we back on the board. No, not yet. Almost. Oh shit! I paused the drive. I'm over here like, what the fuck is going on? Sorry. All right, we back on the board. Deshaun Strimling has some nice size. Eric McAllister, I think Eric McAllister has some decent. Let's go, Eric McAllister. 6'3", 205. We need those type of measurables. Ooh, Miami starting early. Miami starting early. We need those type of measurables. Not saying that he's going. We got to remember he was the 185th pick in the draft. Not saying that he's going to make an instant impact by any means. And hopefully Kendall Daniels mismatch. He's like a dime linebacker from Oklahoma. Hopefully that he can fall to our next pick at 223. Oh shit, he hit at 207. Then we had three. Oh yeah, I could, y'all. I could. All right, we're gonna go. We need some corners. What the corners looking like? I hit them goddamn birds. I don't know these. I know Christian Gray. But this guy, there's damn near a 21 position, 21 spot gap in between Ozillian Hamilton and Christian Gray. Let's go Ozillian Hamilton. How y'all feel about this trade back draft? We're gonna do the best player available draft next, and then yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it. How y'all feel about this trade back draft though? How y'all feel about the haul that I got in this draft? Spent a little more time drafting than I wanted, but hey, it's all right. Lander Burton is a tight end LB. Yeah, I'm good off of the Miles Jack type players in the NFL. I'm good off the Travis Hunters, the two sides of the ball. This ain't college. This ain't high school. What's your top three positions in this year's draft for us, or just in the draft period? I think the top three positions that we need are edge, wide receiver, and off-ball linebacker. As far as just what are the top three deepest positions in the draft? I probably go off-ball linebacker. This draft weak as fuck. I like some of the corners in this draft too. And then after that, shit. I guess edge. I guess. I don't love him. I guess. This draft is weak. This draft super weak. How do you feel about the Panthers? How do I feel about the Panthers? They're not my team. How am I supposed to feel about the Panthers? That was a random question. I appreciate your support, though. We're going to go Kendall Daniels, mismatch 6'5", 240, dime linebacker from the University of Oklahoma. And then we'll round out this draft at pick 247. 257, excuse me. This simulator be hating on Barian Brown. They do not. We are not allowed to drive Barian Brown. Oh, Eli Heidenreich. That's buddy that Logan Paulson said play like Christian McCaffrey. Shit, that could have been a nice little pick. Did I draft a wide receiver? Yeah, I got. Damn, I got 10 picks, y'all. Oh yeah, somebody tell Adam Peters come holler at me. We pretty much addressed everything. I guess we can take the best player available at this point. Is that Malachi Fields? Let's go ahead and draft Malachi Fields. All right, how y'all feel about the first version of the draft that we did this tonight? Excuse me, we ended up with 10 picks. So we turned 5 picks into 10. Kenyon Sadiq at 22, R. Mason Thomas at 52, Dylan Thurman at 71, Tim Keenan at 119, Nick Singleton at 123, Tyreek Sapp at 145, Eric McAllister at 185, Azillian Hamilton at 207, Kendall Daniels at 223, Malachi Fields at 257. I cooked. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of this draft. How we feeling about that haul? Y'all? Truth be told, I don't know what's up with this fascination with tailing ring. I need guys that's gonna give me impact next year. All right, let's do this best player available draft. This one should be a little shorter. And then I'm gonna send you guys on your way. I appreciate y'all spending y'all Wednesday evening, Wednesday night with us over here at Bleeding BNG for our mock draft Monday 2.0 stream. All right, so for this draft, we're going strictly best player available. For most picks, we might trade back in the later rounds, but especially for the first round pick, it's straight best player available. I'm gonna go fast in this draft because that last one was just moving a little too slow for my liking. So let's get started. Mendoza, number 1. Arvell Reese, number 2. Jordan Tyson, number 3. Jeremiah Love, number 6. Carnell Tate, number 5. Ignoring all of these trade back options. This is the same exact trade they gave us last draft. Ooh, why we couldn't get this trade back last draft? Nah, I still cook. Don't get me wrong, but that's a hell of a haul. But I'm gonna go ahead and reject all these offers. We going with the best player available. And while I love Caleb Downs, I like Keldrick Faulk. Matter of fact, I went David Bailey when we went best player available last week. Let's go Caleb Downs. Arguably the best player in the draft. Even though I did play DB, I do think that an edge is more impactful than a safety in today's NFL. Oh shit, I only did one. My fault. I only did one round like a dummy. So we got to restart. 7 rounds. Hopefully Caleb Downs falls to us again. So everything that I just said isn't for naught. I was like, what the fuck? All right, let's try this again. Mendoza still 1. Arvell Reese still 2. Ruben Bain, Carnell Tate, Caleb. Oh, fuck. So now Caleb Downs is off the board. Man, I'm gonna try this one more time. We got 50-50 odds, right? So we did 2 of these drafts where one Caleb Downs wasn't available, one he was. If he isn't available in this one, we just gonna have to move forward. We just gonna have to move forward. But we went David Bailey last week when we did the best player available version of the draft. So that's why I was trying to get away from it. But now we just gonna deal with whoever they give us. He threw a pick. Mendoza threw a pick. All right, cool. All right, we got what we wanted. So we're gonna go Caleb Downs here, best player available. For all the things that I said a couple of minutes ago. We got 7 rounds this time though, so we good. Caleb Downs might arguably be the best safety in the draft, the best player in the draft, excuse me. I think he's the best safety prospect since Eric Berry in 2010. So goddamn in 16 years. And I think even though he is a safety and he's, essentially supposed to impact the third level of your defense, this is a guy that you can line up in man on tight ends. He can play zone. He understands zone. He has good eye discipline coming downhill. Caleb Downs. If it was Caleb Downs and David Bailey, how would we feel in the war room? Who we picking? If it was down to Caleb Downs and David Bailey, who would y'all go with? Y'all let me know in the chat. Who would y'all go with? Those first 3 picks out of there definitely could. I appreciate that, bro. That was a B draft? No way it was a B draft. I want to see you draft, truth be told. I want to see you draft, gang. Especially for what we need. They want impact guys. I appreciate that. We are supposed to have 6 picks in the draft. I think simulators picks missing pick 195. Are we? I thought it was 5. Cooper Jr. with the shake back. Championship. But I missed. I would trade down a 9 in a perfect world. Yeah, if that was presented to me in the trade back version of the draft that we did earlier, I would definitely entertain it. But right now, this is best player available approach. Just to see who we can end up with our 5 picks, like the best players possible. Caleb over Bailey. Bailey over the Caleb. See, this is why I love when we end the war room with Black Adam and the rest of the Commander Caucus. I might open my profile up one day. I'm playing with you, bro. But hey, if you're serious about that, get to it, bro. I'll definitely tap in. I'll definitely watch. I know that profile probably extensive. All right, 62. We got Lee Hunter on the board, Antonio Williams, Deontay Lawson, Demetrius Crownover, and Jonah Coleman. Right now, I think it's between Lee Hunter and Deontay Lawson for me. Lee Hunter old as shit, and I've been trying to get away from old free agents and old draft picks, but he is a stud. A guy like Deontay Lawson will give you the youth movement and the speed injection that you need at the off-ball linebacker position. I'm thinking about going Deontay Lawson. Let's see what wide receivers are available. Yeah, the wide receiver class is fucking pits, y'all. This shit is pits. I told y'all this shit kind of feels like a chore when you get past the first round. So we going Lee Hunter or Deontay Lawson? We going Lee Hunter or Deontay Lawson? I'm thinking Lawson. Lawson for sure. Let me get D'Amico Ryans. Lee Hunter for me. We might let Payne go. You still got Kinlaw though. I know who you thinking, truth be told. I know who you thinking. Let's see the linebackers. But I could get a Tim Keenan at 145 potentially. What linebacker? What off ball linebacker am I getting close to? Deontay Lawson at 145. Like these are some of the things that we gotta think about. These are some of the things that we gotta think about as we're moving throughout the draft. Oh my God. Here we go with this shit again. So let's hope that the page responds. There we go. All right. I'm gonna go Deontay Lawson. I think we need off-ball linebacker more desperately than we need a 24-year-old defensive tackle. Even though I like Lee Hunter, I do. He was impactful, just like every front seven member of that Texas Tech defense. But I think if you want another instant off-ball linebacker and you have the 145th pick, you gotta hope and pray that a guy like Jacob Rodriguez is gonna fall there, and I don't think that he will. I think a guy like Tim Keenan is more likely of being there than a guy like Jacob Rodriguez. So we don't go Deontay Lawson. So now we have safety and a linebacker. We got a safety and a linebacker. I ain't mad at it. And then Lee Hunter went with the next pick, of course. So we got a player for the second and the third level of the defense. Harold Perkins was still on the board. I think we might end up with Harold Perkins in real life. Not taking any of these trades. All right, at pick 185. Excuse me. Six four. He's a fleet-footed mover. I'm thinking in between Tyreek Sapp and Joey Royer right here. But I think if you only have 5 picks, you really gotta like spend most of those on the defensive side of the ball. If you only have 5 picks. If you only have 5 picks. For sure. And that's why I actually wanted to I agree with you, truth be told, 60-20. And that's why I actually wanted to do these mock draft Mondays starting as early as possible, because we can see the shift in our approach and the shift in the players that we think are going to help this team prior to free agency and after the signings that we make in free agency. So I agree with you 100%. But let's go Tyreek Sapp. I think he's one of the better edges at defending the run. I picked him in the trade back version that we did earlier on the stream. And I think he's more needed than a guy like Joey Royer. Joe Royer, while he's a little different than our tight ends, I don't think that he's a dynamic enough athlete and is a little redundant with what we have in the tight end room. So let's go ahead and go Tyreek Sapp. Uh-oh. Reject. All right, back on the board. Pick, what's this? Pick 185. I'm thinking corner. Andre Fuller. I like Andre Fuller. And Toledo is a fucking DB factory. I like Jacoby Thomas as well. Let's go Andre Fuller and hope Jacoby Thomas falls to 207. And he didn't. Jalen Caroline, Isaiah. Let's go to Josh Striblin. Fun wide receiver. Nice measurables. And then I'll probably end up taking Kendall Daniels again, to be 100% honest with you. Don't see any safeties that's really worth taking. You can take a flyer on a guy like Jaden Catalan. But I think that Kendall Daniels is still the play here. Or you can go Josh Cuevas, tight end from. Matter of fact, we already got our off-ball linebacker. Let's go Josh Cuevas, tight end from Alabama. All right. Oh, we got 6 picks. They gave us our 6th rounder. I think that's pick 185. All right, so best player available. We didn't waste our time bothering to try to trade back. Caleb Downs, Deontay Lawson, Tyreek Sapp, Andre Fuller, Dejon Striblin, and Josh Cuevas. Which draft do y'all like better? Draft 1 or draft 2? The trade back draft or the best player available draft? What draft do y'all like better? What draft do y'all like better? Draft A or draft B? Trade back draft with the haul that we got with the 10 picks, as well as a 2027 second rounder, or this draft where I think we got the 2 best players that we drafted in Caleb Downs and Deontay Lawson. How we liking this draft? Draft 1 or 2? Thomas is a dub. Draft 2. Which draft we liking? Draft 1 or 2? I got 2. Draft 2. So everybody liking that best player available approach. And that's what Mock Draft Monday is for. So you guys can see the different philosophies and the different approaches that we take at drafts. We ended up with 10 picks in one draft, and it seems like everybody else is like in the draft where we only had the 6 original pick. And that's why you can't stick with a generalization. Like, it's important to do this exercise to exhaust as many scenarios as possible, because ain't too many things more unpredictable than the draft. Ain't too many things more unpredictable than the draft when you got so many variables and so many factors that cause the unpredictability. But yeah, I appreciate y'all spending y'all Monday night, Monday evening with us over here at Bleeding BNG for Mock Draft Monday 2.0, our version 2.0 edition. The college football game is on. I'm looking at it in the background right now, 0-0. So hopefully I haven't missed too many highlights. But I'm about to go ahead and enjoy the rest of my Monday night watching Indiana and Miami. Hopefully Miami pulls out this dub, but I'm just looking for a good football game. Come join us. Come join us next week for Mock Draft Monday 3.0. And we also just dropped a video. We dropped a video ranking our favorite Washington Commanders, whether that be through interview or through the rumor mill. Just dropped that with the GOAT, Rio Robinson, my guy, my group chat brethren. So make sure y'all check out and tap into that one as well. I just dropped it right before we started this stream. So you got enough content from us over here at Bleeding BNG to last you about the week, because we just like the team. We just like the team. Key plays, Rat and Cooper Jr. All right, bet. I'm definitely tapping at those. But we just like the team. We just like the team. We shine in the off season, and I'm gonna keep shining in the off season. Mock Draft Monday 3.0 next week, and stay tapped into the channel so you're not missing any of these videos. Smile on the flip side. Peace.